I want to go into, I know we're talking about mindset of the client, but I want to go into mindset of
Yeah, we
you.
go
Like,
wherever you want to go. Yeah.
was was there a plan? Were you like, yeah, we're projecting 10 million in 3 years, or was there a huge element of luck? Like, what the hell happened?
A bit of both. So what happened is that from 19 to 21, I had an amazing mentor. I was part of a fast growth team. We went from 3 people to 60 people in 2 years, and I was under the guidance of a really great, experienced entrepreneur, and I had a hands-on experience of fast growth to start with. So, it wasn't new to me. It wasn't a random idea. I'd already done zero to, I think we'd done 6 million in year two. So I'd done 0 to 6 million with my mentor. And essentially, I had a lot that I could copy and replicate. So when I left and started my own business, I did a lot of the things that we just did, in the first company. And some of the things that we did is that we had something called a perfect repeatable week. So a perfect repeatable week is where you create a series of activities that lead to the kind of performance that you need to achieve in the business. So we measure something called LAPS, leads, appointments, presentations, and sales. So what we do is we work backwards. So in year one, I wanted to do 1 million of revenue. So roughly speaking, you need to be doing 25 grand weeks. So then you have to work out, okay, if we earn 2,500 per sale, then we're going to need to make 10 sales a week. If we convert 1 in 3, we're going to need 30 appointments. If only half the people show up, we're going to need 60 people who are booked. And then if we want to get enough leads to do that, we're probably going to need something like 300 leads a week coming through. So you can kind of extrapolate backwards, and then you work out what's the cost per lead. So okay, if we can budget $100 a lead. Okay, we're going to need to spend this on leads, and then this many appointments will come through, and then this many presentations will be delivered, and this many sales come through. So we just kind of work backwards from our LAPS, leads, appointments, presentations, and sales, and we kind of build a pipeline that's going to deliver that. So what happened for me is I successfully built that pipeline in year one, where we got onto consistent 25 grand weeks through our perfect repeatable weeks. And then we went from Brisbane to Sydney to Melbourne, so we tripled it. And then we took on a bigger client where we were earning $15,000 per sale that we would make, and basically it went up to 10 million. And that year, one of the strategies was to run introduction events. In fact, that was the core strategy. And that year, I ended up doing 173 introduction events. So we ran a lot. And we were spending, I think from memory, we were spending something like 80,000 a month on ads.
So you have to be measurably comfortable spending 80,000 in ads because you can anticipate the revenue that'll come back. And in your case, like being a perfect week, I don't know if it was a 1 week return on that ad spend, or that probably was a little longer, but still you had that system that made you comfortable spending it because you could predict what was going to be happening on the other side when the sale would happen. What are the conversion rates, and what was kind of the average order value? So how did you ensure that you had something that was so valuable to sell that you knew you could actually transact it at a price point that would make the whole system make sense?
So here's the thing about that particular business. My first business, so going back in time 20 plus years, my first business was a performance marketing agency where we would take a proven established business that had taken its eye off the ball with sales and marketing, and then we would do the performance marketing on the front end, and we would do the lead generation and the sales right through to sale, and then hand over to effectively hand over to our client. And we had agreed an amount per sale that we could get as soon as we'd made that sale, and then hand it over to them. So the business model worked really, really well because we would typically work with clients who could pay us quickly so that we could get on to making the next sale. And we didn't have to worry too much about client servicing. We didn't have to worry too much about cash flowing things. We just worked with clients that had a proven product. They'd totally taken their eye off the ball with sales. So I'll give you a classic example. One of our very first clients was financial planning. And some of these financial planners, they end up getting quite big, and then they become very pompous in the way that they communicate. and they disconnect from what it's like to be a typical person who wants to set up a financial plan. So they run things like branded advertising, and you can see this. You could open up any newspaper, and you'd see them with these very boring, very dull branded ads that would definitely not perform. And we could see they're just wasting tons of money on these types of ads. And then you'd call the number, and someone would take down your details, and no one would get back to you. And so it was very easy for me to actually. What I would do is I'd just literally go through their sales pipeline, and then I would get in touch with the most senior person there and say, look, here's what it's been like as an experience as a buyer. This is terrible. It's not going to work for you. You're just flushing money down the toilet. Let me take it over. So that's how that business worked. And then when we scaled right up, I went working with franchises. So a franchise fee is typically $60,000 to $100,000, and we would take $15,000 off of a $60,000 franchise as our marketing fee. And we worked with a franchise that already had 100 franchisees, and we took them up to 300 or 400 franchisees. And essentially, they had really struggled to engage, and we were very, very good at getting those franchise sales made. So we were effectively we were a front end sales and marketing engine for businesses that weren't very good at it.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.